It's been more than 10 years now that Rojava, the anarchist revolution, and now have an anarchist society, even though people of this state still deny its anarchist principles. I already did multiple videos on this. It's more consistent under the principles of anarchist communism. To be more specific, a subset of anarchist communism is the anarcho-communalism, a philosophy developed by Moray Bookchin in his concept of communalism and libertarian municipalism, which itself developed its own subset called democratic federalism, developed by the Kurdish revolutionary fighter Abdullah Öcalan, PKK, and now they did a successful anarchist society in North Syria, also known as Western Kurdistan, Rojava, with a population of 5 million people, using the principles of communalism and libertarian municipalism, or in their words, democratic federalism. And recently, sadly, I wasn't didn't have a time to make the video when it happened. The anniversary of the revolution they did. Not only should they establish an anarchist society and still maintain that for over a decade, but it should be spread the entirety of Kurdistan because the Kurdish people are the largest ethnic and racial group in the world that doesn't have its own nation. While unlike the Kurds, there are stateless peoples at the beginning, and they will maintain that statelessness under the principles of anarchism. And I will put a link in the Institute of Development Studies, which is an academic paper, who talks about the Rojava Revolution in Syria Kurdistan, which they talk about the anarchist government principle, and it should be a model for the Middle East. The links is going to be in the description. For now, we got to talk about other examples that I use straight from other articles that talk about the potential of revolution of the rest of Kurdistan, right? It's something that is worth fighting for. Someone has pointed out when they read the book of the revolution for outside of Kurdistan, right? A quote from the transcript from there. Those bonds with their fallen ally took, people in Rojava. In fact, this revolution support the need of 5 million ethnically diverse people, Kurds, Arabs, Assyrians, Turkmen, Yazidis, the Syrian Christians, etc., for a political system known as democratic federalism. In the words of Abdullah Öcalan, the imprisoned political philosopher of the revolution, and I quote, the democratic federalism of Kurdistan is not a state system, but a democratic system of the people without a state, with women and youth at the forefront. It is a system which all sectors of society will develop their own democratic organization. It is a political exercise by free and equal Confederate citizens by electing their own free regional representatives. It is based on the principle of its own strength and expertise. It derives its power from the people in all areas including its economy, would it seek self-sufficiency, end quote. As a stateless society, meeting the needs of millions of people, one which actively building a new economy based on the network of cooperatives and one which internationalists have flocked to defend, there are obvious parallels between today's Rojava anarchist society and the anarchist society of Spain during 1936 to 1939 in the Spanish Civil War. Indeed, some of the principle behind the Rojava Revolution was inspired by Murai Bookchin. So too are the parallels between George Orwell's homage to Catalonia and we're fighting for in the book that they're trying to reference for each right with honesty and hope. It has become a rare commonality in the opening years of the third millennia as the author we're fighting for put it. Deep down, we lost faith. And so as soon anyone else that they let us down or harm us, we are ready to rise our tactless, hiss and back away. Castly explain why if only everyone were as smart as us, it would be alright. Of course, there's nowhere actually to go. None of us want to admit when we're mad at society, is that we are society. The Kurdish freedom movement insists that we push ourselves to remember this at every turn. We carry the same poison from patriarchy, the state and capital. We are not pure. This is already brings us back to eye level with society, make us ready to engage, and where do we get all our revolutionary ideas anyway? They did not fall like thunderbolts from the sky. Our history, our communities, our societies brought us that legacy as well. Rojava offers a practical new way of organizing society based on three pillars of feminism, or the Kurdish concept of genealogy, the science of woman; ecology, the building of social ecology of Burai Bookchin based on dialectical naturalism; and democracy to be more specific, democratic federalism. And this is a great example. It's a vision when it comes to hope, and again, I quote, it can be hard to cultivate hope sometimes. Often we forget that it's not something just comes and goes without our say. It's something that we need to work on a fire to free in ourselves and in others. Many of us arrive in Rojava expecting we see a top up or of our hope balance, putting ourselves in the position of consumer rather than a creator. But hope, which is entirely dependent on external sources, will yield poor fruit. It can never thrive in a harsh condition of the struggle we are in. So we need to insist on hope, no way to arrive. The hope inside us is safe in reciprocal relationship with the world around us. It's not surprising the most precious thing we brought back from a job was a sense of hope. This time, it wasn't the effervescent of hope of youth and novelty of something more solid, deeply rooted when our hands struggle. In some way, this whole book is about everything we just talked about. We're fighting for bringing our revolution at home. Why it's one of the most important things we need to nurture if we want to win. Another example would be from Dr. Theodore Recro in his article, Rojava is a philosophical idea brought to life. He asked to Howard News Agency to give him thoughts on the anniversary of the Rojava Revolution. This allowed him to observe preservers and mothers, widows living and educate themselves in a Jingwon woman's village, the small joy of children riding Ferris wheel in Amude, the psychological scars left behind liberated dungeons and former execution sites in ISIS. His time at Rojava witnessed events spanning from the Battle of Konabe in 2014 to Turkey's invasion occupation in Serekayen and Kirisvi in 2019. Over 300,000 civilians have been displaced and hundreds killed. This is also the story of Free Occupy back in 2018 and the short ethnic clashes which reduced the Kurdish population from 96% to astonishing 25%. The West in UK arms and Russia invade a small part of Ukraine to save the ethnic Russian population, but totally ignored Turkish general ethnic classes and the justification of offering, which is another racist thing as well. Let's not ignore that. Interviewing ISIS prisoners, their wives showed me the dark alternative reality that was planned for the region if the YPJ, PG, and the STE had not sacrificed so much to free it from their grasp. Now, as the Turkish Air Force continued to rain down death upon the valiant population of Rojava, while threatening to renew and complete extermination, their mercenaries in ISIS began, it is incumbent to outside world to remember what is at stake. Rojava is more than a geographical place. It is a philosophical idea brought to life, a sacred a sea stretched out the sky by blistered hands grasping for a better future, watered with the blood of countless martyrs who gave their lives so it could live. Every day Rojava survives is a testament that another world is not only possible but essential, which is why outside forces continue to conspire to suffocate the collapsed gas for air that it represents. Rojava has already changed the world and me an example for annals of history in the but on his 12th anniversary, we are left with the uncertainty whether he could continue to inspire the next generation to fight for their due diligence. So perhaps when considering the question, it is useful to reflect that the revolution represents. And he goes on to show a poem, right? But like, I'm not gonna read the whole poem. The revolution is an inspirational example that women do not belong within black shrouds as invisible ghosts, but an essential member of public life. It's a groundbreaking experiment in democratic federalism by Imrali Island as flashing beacon in humanity. The Rojava Revolution is a vision where corporations are replaced with communes, protocols are replaced with councils, and isolation is replaced with social responsibility. This community where every citizen has a political voice and life is organized to ensure their active participation in controlling their own destiny. This belief that our planet collapse can be prevented with social ecology, that no society is free if its women are not fully liberated. It's a culture where women's mandatory black borgan under ISA have been swapped out for university graduate gowns. It's an alternative moral government where offensive army have been replaced with self-defense unit concerned with protecting the people. It's a community that Sunnis, Shias, Alevis, Alawites, Christian, Jews, Yazidis, Zoroastrian, atheists, everyone should all be free to worship without fear. It's a multi-ethnic democracy where Kurds, Arabs, Armenians, Syrians, Chaldeans, Caucasian, Turkmen, Chechens, and Western volunteers are welcome to contribute. It's a little Kurdish girl being able to go to school in her mother tongue for the first time. It's an Armenian family building a happy life, although they forgot the graves of their ancestors who were death marched through these lands during the Armenian genocide. It's a young Arab woman from Deir ez-Zor telling her tribal father that she now wants to be a lawyer and him accepting her dream. It's a young Syrian man decided to defend his family's village against Turkish military shellings and occupation. His displaced family from Afrin who know that Turkey may cut down and steal their olive tree with their barbarism, but eventually the fascist invaders will be defeated. Every laughter child there, every busy restaurant in Guamrish, every Kurdish song being sung in the street of Asaka, and every smiling family having a picnic at Amul is taking ISIS dodges in Raqqa and transforming them into centers of art and libraries, and Arab families from southern Syria relocating to Madrid for the safety and stability of the SDF provides. There's a promise that roads will never be again used to hang Sheikh Sai, Riyad, and Qasim Muhammad, that chemical gas will never again be dropped in Kurdish cities, and then thousands of Kurdish villages will never again be burned to the ground. It is a burning candle amidst the darkness, illuminating a path towards a brighter future for Kurdistan and the entire Middle East. It's now making its 15th not 15th, its 12th anniversary, which Dr. Recro offered insight to its significance for the region. He said, who was witness the events of Rojava, the Battle of Konabe, and the Turkish invasion. This is a beautiful event throughout history that should never be forgotten because it's a historical root in the Paris Commune, the civil war of Spain during the Anarchist uprising. It's a groundbreaking experiment that will never be forgotten. It, but there are uncertainty from outside invasions from Iran, Iraq, Turkey, Syria, various terrorist groups, especially ISIS, and the United States, who sometimes they help them when it's convenient, but will turn their backs when their friends in Turkey decide to destroy them. This should never be forgotten, no matter what. Sadly, we had to continue to struggle to fight for freedom, not only for the Rojava region, but for the entirety of Kurdistan. Because, think about it, in Syria, Turkish warplanes and drones target infrastructure 73 times on January 12th, wounding at least 6 civilians and cutting power to nearly 2 million residents. Este, the Rojava announced to strike disabled 7 oil refineries and 7 power plants, right? Destroy 5 checkpoints manned by international security, and damage 45 other facilities. Rojava also said Turkey has been committing war crimes and crime against humanity in Syria for years. Their soldiers refute Turkish claim that their soldiers were killed in the strike and called the attack systematic destruction of basic Syrian institutions and deliberate target of the necessity of life for millions of people. The attack started after Turkish Minister of National Defense Yaksa Gil announced 9 Turkish soldiers in Iraqi Kurdistan were killed by the PKK. Separately, Iranian-backed militias claim responsibility for several additional attacks on the facility housing U.S. personnel in Syria. On January 12th, the SDF seized its seas platform for rocket mortars to blow the terrorist call for probably to attack the SDF, U.S. forces, and civilians. Now we go to Turkey. They detained 165 people across the country with police raids taking place in various locations, including the Kurdish province of Ahmed and Istanbul. A significant number of these detainees are affiliated with the pro-Kurdish Tent Party, and many of them face charges related to their social media posts critical of the government. Concurrently, as part of the preparation for the upcoming local election, leaders of the Dem Party held discussion with the Turkish primary opposition group, the People's Republic Party. In a statement issued by the Dem Party leader, they firmly oppose the government's policy and appointed trustees to replace elected mayors. The party urges all political parties and civil organizations to collaborate and safeguard the collective future of the country. Normally, a new municipal election in Turkey are scheduled on March 31st. In Iraq, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps claimed a credit for several ballistic missile attacks on Erbil that killed at least 4 citizens and 117 late Monday. The victims of Monday's attack were the famous Kurdish businessman named Bishro Tasayeh and his 1-year-old daughter. Alongside his business partner from Baghdad, the ISIS two sides will remain in critical condition. The ARGC declares target Free Mossad base, housing anti-Iran groups. Still, the Kurdish Regional Security Council observed that these attacks started in civilian areas and called IRGC Declaration baseless. This is a blatant violation of the sovereignty of the Kurdish region and Iraq, and the federal government and the international community must not remain silent about these crimes. Kurdish leaders and parties condemned the attacks and consider it a violation of Iraq and Kurdistan's sovereignty. On Tuesday, large galleries of Kurdish state protests against the Iranian regime, holding up posters adorned with images of the victims. Simultaneously, at the World Economic Forum in Davos, U.S. Secretary of State Tony Blinken held discussion with Mansour Barsia, the Prime Minister of the Kurdish Regional Government. The President's office conveyed that both the U.S. and President Joe Biden perceive these attacks as a serious threat. They are committed to taking necessary measures to uphold regional security and stability. The missile attack did not specially target the U.S. presence. However, one way drone of the Iranian-backed Iraqi militias directly towards Erbil Airport aimed at a U.S. facility resulted in no reported casualties. Pentagon Press Secretary Major General Pat Ryder responded to Iranian-backed party's effort to expel U.S. forces from Iraq by stating U.S. personnel are focusing on the anti-ISIS mission that are in the country at the intervention of the Iraqi government. Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammad Shia al-Sudani told Reuters that the Iraqi government is seeking a quick U.S. exit, but has not set a deadline for such a withdrawal yet. That said, Iraqi Minister of Foreign Affairs Fawad Hussein told the Arabiya that Iraq does not want to create a chaotic situation with Paris relations with Washington, emphasizing the importance of internal preparation before the start of negotiations. In Iran, Iranian authorities executed 7 Kurds in Karja prison on drugs charged in 1 week, according to Hangwa Organization for Human Rights. Another execution was reported on Tuesday, bringing the total number of Kurdish executions in 2024 to 20. Simultaneously, the Iranian regime continues to crack down on activists and civilians, detaining several Kurds in Mehabad, Behramshah, Bonkhan, Paneh, Sartaj, Ilam, and the Walam. At the same time, 2 Kurdish men died under the torture in prison after months of detention, identified as Iman Hassanwana and Payman Abdi. Separately, the regime border guards and the IRGC wounded at least 18 Kurdish border porters, Kolpar, and killed 2 in the bloodiest week of 2024 near Mosul and Banat. The Iraqi Kurdish opposition parties condemned the recent rocket attacks on the Kurdish region by the IRGC, labeling them as acts of terrorism. The Democratic Party of Iran, Kurdistan, attributed the attack to the IRGC, alleging they are carried out in response to the IRGC's losses in Syria. Abdullah Mohadi, the leader of the Kamala Party of Iranian Kurdistan, questioned why the IRGC has not been designated as a terrorist organization by the world despite such actions. Both parties have experienced similar attacks in Kurdistan region in 2018 and 2023. And remember, we must, not only for the Kurdish people and every other ethnic group that exists in the area, but everybody to go support the Anarchist society in Rojava and by extension help establish that revolution to expand the entire world. Long live the revolution. Finally, we must go back to our nature as egalitarians.